is Andy Goldsworthy? How can you find out? Just look up his name and you will find a lot of examples of his work. Due to copyright law, I cannot show you his work in this movie, but I'm showing you some of the things I made in my own yard. I used his work to inspire some small garden-based art this week. These examples are the photos and video in this movie. Whereas my work did not take much time, Goldsworthy works for long periods of time. Whereas my work used tools and jute string, Goldsworthy doesn't use tools, nor manufactured materials. Goldsworthy is a purist. He only uses natural materials and connects them only with weight, position, by stacking, weaving, and placing gently. He does not use glue, nor does he use nails. The energy and space around a material are as important as the energy and space within. The weather, rain, sun, snow, hail, mist, calm, is all that external space made visible. When I touch a rock, I am touching and working the space around it. It is not independent of its surroundings, and the way it sits tells how it came to be there. So at the beginning, you may have seen the little rock sculptures that I made in my yard using little pebbles that I could find. Next, I decided to find some sticks and use some pruning shears and cut those. And after I did that, I thought, oh, I could make a ladder. So sometimes after you cut something or you're starting to organize the material, you actually come up with the idea, and that's kind of what happened here. At first, I tried to make one smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That was really a lot harder than I thought. And then I had this idea to make the ladder, which I thought would be kind of interesting looking, and it ended up looking kind of like something you'd put in a fairy or gnome garden. And so I cut using pruning shears. If you're going to cut wood, maybe ask an adult for some sharp pruning shears and be very careful, because you can slice into your finger, and make sure you're using that with adult permission. And if you have any kind of string to tie, you don't necessarily have to make a ladder, but this is the kind of idea that once you have materials that are outdoor materials, you can start to invent things. And what I did is I strung each one together, and sometimes I used a slip knot, sometimes I used a regular knot, sometimes I did a double knot. Eventually I found that a single knot really was enough. So I went, if you just go around the piece of wood once, and then you stick the tail through and you pull it tight, you'll have a good enough knot for a ladder. It's not like you're actually supporting weight. So it's just a time-consuming process, but it was actually pretty pleasurable. It was a really nice day outside. The weather was nice, so I advise doing outdoor projects when the weather is nicer, and you'll be a lot more patient. And if you have tools and other things that you can access safely, please go ahead and use them. Everybody has different things in their yards. You might not even have sticks, but you can use leaves. You might not have acorns. I have acorns in my yard, so I could use those too. And in fact, I painted a couple little faces on acorns. If you do make the ladder, make sure the space between each stick is spaced evenly. Nails. His art is as much about the process of making it as the end result. He is also very attentive to taking photos of every single artwork he has ever made. This is a vast collection of photographs, and it's kept safe in his collection and with the University of Glasgow, Scotland. What does he say about his own work? Looking, touching, material, place, and form are all inseparable from the resulting work.